a Zoom. So hello, everybody. I just want to start by welcoming everybody and thank you for coming. I am Denise Arminio. We have Claire McIntyre here, and we can hopefully help answer some of your questions with the Genius. And also today we are going to do a personalized demo scan with Irene. And Irene, which last name do you want to use?
Well, there's different things showing up when I use both names. So I have a question about it as well. Does it matter what name you're saying with the vibrations that are showing up?
Well, I would go by your legal name. You know, like on your main documents on your passport, what do you have your name as?
Yeah, so I'm here in Canada. We moved from Holland, so I am not even Canadian citizen. So I still have my Dutch passport. So I travel on my maiden name, and I'm the documents here in Canada are Van der Horst. So I will go with that.
Okay. So then I have your birth date already in here, and I have female written. So I'm just going to click next here, and I'm going to pass by this because this is just for notes. This doesn't have anything to do with the scan. So I'm just going to click past that. But what I do want to just take a minute to talk about before we really start anything is, now, just so everybody knows, Irene and I did communicate a little bit by email prior to this. So I do have a little bit of a background of what she's needing help with, but I just wanted to share with everybody if that's okay. Or Irene, maybe you would like to tell us a brief, you know, basically of what symptoms you want us to help with and how you would rate them today.
Well, it started about 10 years ago when I was snowboarding and I collapsed. No, not I collapsed. I really fell hard on the ground. I was wearing a helmet and I really kind of had a whiplash there. It's kind of about 10 years ago. I shrugged it off and life went on. It didn't really bother me. And then probably a few years later, I collapsed on the ground in the kitchen in the early morning and I couldn't get up. I couldn't move. And my muscles were completely gone. And up to today, my muscles, it is hard for me to stand up after sitting or laying down. I had a concussion after that, and my brain it's been very foggy, hard to concentrate, hard to actually be on Zoom and using the Genius and I bought the master package back in November. And I really like to use this as a practitioner, but I have a hard time just connecting with information and just understanding everything. So I'm looking for a healing so my brain can function, I think.
Okay. And just what were you ever told it was anything specific or never really undiagnosed, basically?
No, I went the medical route as well, done a lot of healing sessions, got MRIs. They thought about MS because it shows similar, but it's not, they don't know. They cannot see anything specific. So it's been very frustrating. I did get, using the Genius is helping me, but I feel there is something missing.
Okay. So let's get started. And again, I just want to remind everybody that, you know, although I did ask you if you had a diagnosis, it's not really important. Sometimes it just might give me like a starting point on where I might look, but anything can cause anything. So, you know, you may find your answers in a place that's completely different from where you thought it was. So really to trust in the Genius and what it's finding and in your gut when you're working is really important. So with that, let's begin. You, let me just screenshot your picture here. And, whoopsies. Oh, wait, there it is. Hold on. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Okay, whoops. Oh, can you see my screen right now?
Yeah.
It's the voice recording one.
Yeah, I don't know why this one just came up. Hold on a second. I'm stopping this screen share. Hold on. Okay, sorry. So now we can get a collection of your voice. So I will count you down and say 3, 2, 1, begin. And if you can just say your full name and repeat the vowels A, E, I, O, U until the 15 seconds ends.
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, begin.
Irene Vanderhorst. A-E-I-O-U. A-E-I-O-U. Irene Vanderhorst. A-E-I-O-U. A-E-I-O-U.
Okay, great. Now, usually I would suggest listening to the voice harmonics. The sound doesn't come across very well, especially since vowels are very low pitched tone, so you can't hear it. So I'm just going to bypass that and hit next. Okay. The other question I just want to ask you on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being severe, how would you rate your pain or discomfort for today?
8.
An 8. And you're seeing that pain mostly in your legs?
Mostly my head, actually. Just get going in the morning and just it feels very fuzzy.
Okay.
So it's about an 8 right now.
Okay. Okay, so now we've uploaded your picture and I'm going to hit begin analysis. And it shows that the scan is complete. And would you like to use an affirmation?
I am healed now.
Okay. I also wanted to tell everybody I'm using something new today. I'm using the 3D graphics. So, you know, if it looks different than your genius, that's why. It's because I have it activated. So now I'm just going to go right now. My Genius screen should looks like anybody who is either on the trial or doesn't have any libraries yet, because it just says biofield, body, and mind. But I am going to go to the 3 bars on the top right. We call that the navigation bar. And I'm going to go to my libraries and I'm going to add them all to the client, and I'm going to add to client. Okay, so now libraries appears here after I do that. And the reason why I am doing that is because I did not select add all libraries to all clients, which I personally would always do. The reason why I do not is because it takes a really long time for me to sync, because I have like over 2,000 libraries. So if anybody was going to ask me what I would recommend, I would sync all libraries to all users, but it just slows the sync time down the more libraries that you have. So that is my reasoning for doing what I did. Anyway, let's hit begin analysis. So the first thing I am going to do is get your aura picture. So I'm going to click on aura right here. You could see where my cursor is, and I'm going to hit on that, click on that line and hit begin analysis. Okay, and let's, come on. Sorry guys, this little glitch, it seems to be a little glitchy today. I think it's just a Zoom interference, but it could be that the 3D graphics also doesn't like Zoom. So we'll have to see. Okay, so, oh, I didn't talk about your aura. So your aura looks to me at first glance that you probably have a lot of stagnant energy. What I like to see in an aura is bright, vibrant colors, and those colors are usually, or are the colors of the aura. So when you see pale or muddy or dirty colors, it's usually representative of stagnant energy. So hopefully we can work on that for you today. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is just a basic understanding of what these numbers are on the right-hand side. So basically the Genius uses a numerical system, a value system from 0 to 777. And the values between 0 and 100 are represented by the color blue, which we can see down here. Wow, that's the only one. That's really odd. So minerals is showing as blue because it is below 100. And that typically is observed to be an energetic disturbance that is of chronic nature. So you've had that disturbance for a longer period of time. In Chinese medicine, they would also refer to that as like stagnant energy. You then go from 101 to about the mid 400 range, which is represented by the color green. And from there you go to the mid 400s to about 680 is represented by the color yellow. And red is about 679 to 777. And those would be energetic disturbances that are more acute and observed to be, like in Chinese medicine, heat or inflammation. Now, what we have found is that when we add items into this main hold tray on the bottom, that it's beneficial to add items that are above 600 and below 200, because when we find that when we run the progressive insight scan, which you run through the main hold tray, a lot of those yellows that would be values from 600 to about to when the red begins, and the greens that are between 200 and 101 often will show as high, having a high disturbance when they're looked at in relationship to one another. So you don't want to miss anything. So it is important not to overlook those. The next thing I wanted to just point out is these arrows on the side. indicate that you can go deeper. And in order to go deeper, you can click on the line and it will bring you to that next deeper level. I like to click on the red line as you just saw, but you could also click on the arrow and you can see everything right in front of you, drop down right on the same page, but it doesn't show you the colors of the line. So it really just depends what you like, how you like viewing it. The next thing I like to do is in this for today, I feel like, and I do this all the time. Sometimes it just depends on the order. I do want to look at spiritual protection for you, but I wanted to also tell you in one of the, the Zoom panel, there we go. I like to go to the click on system overview. Why isn't it letting me go up there? Come on. Okay. All right. Oh, sorry. I don't know if you could see my Zoom stuff, but every time I go to hit system overview, the hold on, I have to figure out what I have to do here. Okay, let me
Move
just
that bar down to the bottom, or is that still going to get in the way?
yeah, no, I think oh, this
Yeah,
isn't-
we can't see it from this point of
this
view.
hasn't happened to me before. This is really okay. I'm just gonna let me close this. I'm gonna hit system
Take it by
overview
surprise. There you go.
and but now you can't see the bottom of maybe. So now I'm going to hit begin analysis, but first I'm going to move the timer on the right hand side all the way up to the top. Now at the top here, it's either going to be 15 minutes. At the bottom, I know it's really tiny, the numbers there, but that's 30 minutes. Or if you touch or click on this yellow circle, it changes the minutes to 0. That's where I'm going to leave it for right now. And the 0 minutes will do 2 things for you. It will run until you manually stop it. Unlike if you put it on 1 minute, it would automatically stop at 1 minute. Also, the other thing that happens when it's on 0, when you do stop it, it will automatically calculate the percent rectification. Otherwise, if you stop it if you've selected 1 minute or 2 minute, if you select it before it ends, you won't get that calculation. So if sometimes that happens to you, that's why. So let's hit begin analysis here. And oh, so what do we have on top? We have spiritual protection. So that's funny.
That's interesting.
So let's run this quick balance here. So when we're here, what it's showing us is in chronological order, everything from the system overview page, all your highs, and then it goes to the, which are red, which goes to your yellows, then greens, then blues. So if we hit general overview again, it will bring us to the bottom view. So now we're seeing that your the items that appear to be of a more chronic nature for you would be acetylcholine, animal hair, the emotion of lust, spinal energy, thoracic 10. Now we can look at that really quickly and just see what that looks like. So thoracic 10, the body connection is the kidneys. It harmonizes the spine for kidney stones, chronic fatigue, and uh, uh, arteriosclerosis. And the emotional connection is hard to take charge of one's life, hard to go with the flow of authentic direction. So I'm not sure if that resonates for you. But that's what it's showing. Then we have no GAG, pericardian 0.3, the governing meridian, white fur. And we can just look at white fur while we're here to get the meaning of that flower essence. And why is it not on this list?
Essential oils.
Oh,
isn't
it's essential oil. I'm sorry. Well, it's not on my list here, so we won't look at that.
it? It's good for strength in the legs.
Is that what it's for? Well, anyway, let's run a quick balance here. So we can see the 3D graphics here.
Oh, wow.
His face is a little funny.
It is an upgrade.
This is new to me seeing that. So. Okay, so you have a 44% rectification, so that's really good. What I look to see is 40% or above. That's not to say I wouldn't be happy with 20%. Ryan Williams says he feels and works with 20%, and he feels it's just a little gentler. And that might be true, especially for people who are more sensitive to subtle energies. I do tend to like to see 40% or higher rectification, but that's just me. So whatever you find works best for you and your clients is, again, really where you should go. There, you can't make a mistake here. But what it does tell you is that this 44% is the probability that 44% of these items, which is large because this is a huge list, have harmonized. So that's great. And which means you don't necessarily have to go into all these different areas because we've already worked with a bunch of them. The biofield is what's showing as the most important, the priority, or where most of your disturbance is. So we will start with that first. And I will head over to spiritual protection, which was where I wanted to go in the first place. And there is, and I'm going to add all these items in here right now. And I do often, even if there aren't as many reds and blues in here, but for you, really everything I would put in the tray if we were following 600 and below and 200, 600 and above and 200 and below, you only have two that don't fall within that category. So I'm putting them all in, and I'm just going to put this on 0 minutes, begin analysis. Now, interestingly, there's only 2 highs showing, but I don't necessarily, often a psychic attack has a lot to do with physical pain being experienced. And I just find this to be a very, very important library. So don't overlook it. It may be misunderstood, but, and don't get wrapped up in the names of the items, just look to clear them. Often, sometimes when we're done running this and I rescan it, you might find some of the ones that were lows or mediums now will become highs. Okay, so you had a 26% rectification there. And this thing is really annoying me today. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna hit rescan. And again, you don't have that many that are showing up. I'm not going to continue working on it because we are under a time constraint, but I just wanted to show you that. I am going to leave everything still in the main hold tray though. And next we can look at meridians, which is a high for you as well. And I always will look at conception vessel and governing vessel, no matter where it falls on the number value. For you, it is showing as a high again. I'm going to add conception vessel, and I'm also going to add the first and last point on that meridian system. So we have CV1. And if you're not sure what number you're looking for, if there are a lot, you can look here. CV24 is the point right below your bottom lip, and that's 24. Also, when you're on here, if this little like circle with the letter I just tells you what that point in Chinese medicine usually represents. In this case, it says swelling and pain of the gums and epilepsy. And I will add in the governing meridian, which is also off. I'm going to add all the reds here, but I'm still going to look for your GV1, you're the first point and the last point. And I'm also going to add the blues. The governing vessel and your central vessel are really important for your flow of energy. So, and then it going out to your different meridians. And for you, Irene, I am going to add these ones that are off, that are, when I say off, I mean a 600 and above. And
Well, I've done a lot of
200 and below.
acupuncture as well, so it's still surprising that they're still showing up. So many.
Yeah, well, don't forget, this is the energy, but energy is changing all the time. So when you were there, they may have cleared it, but you know, depending on what's happening. Plus, we don't really know from this what is causing it to go be out of balance. So we'll see. I mean, I can't answer that for you. You can ask your acupuncturist that question though. But again, I don't have the best answer for that. Sorry.
Well, it also shows that I'm doing the right things to heal.
Yes. I mean, you always want to change it, but you know,
Yeah.
if you're having, you know, your aura looked like there was stagnant energy. So, I mean, we just want to clear that flow of the meridians. I'm going to add in just the reds and the blues here. And if I didn't point out this little plus button circle with the main hold tray and up by the quick zap, that will just allows us to pull all the red items, all the yellow, green, or blue, so that we don't have to drag and drop them individually. So it does help speed things up. We can look at the Nogiers. And Dr. Nogier found that your organs and your glands have their own frequency kind of like, I like to think of it as like a fingerprint. So when those go out of balance, the function of those organs and glands may also go out of balance. So Nogier D is, the quick meaning is brain balance, which is where you have your main issue. And the opening of the energy, it opens the energy of balancing the left and right side of the brain, and it reduces stress. So this obviously is very important to work with for you. We can also add in no GAG, which is the universal frequency, which I would always add anyway. That also deals with brain function, scar tissue and inflammation. So again, that is an important item for you to be working on. And Nogier B is, the quick meaning of that is digestion, lymphatic, circulatory, and neuropathy. And it opens the energy of the lungs, urethra, bladder, thyroid, thymus, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, allergies, and the circulatory system. So Vegios are similar to the Nogiers, that they're a frequency, but they work with more spiritual aspects. So 396 Hertz is working on liberating guilt and fear. 528 is the transformation of miracles and DNA repair. And I will add that no matter what the value is. We can add in these that are above 600 here as well. Chakras, I always like to work with. So I'm going to add the ones again, 600 and above, and I'll add that throat chakra. So now basically we've touched on everything in that biofield. So we can move on to the mind. And when I come to the mind, I'll always look at the Bach flower essences and emotional, because that's very, emotions are usually always the root of any dis-ease or ailment that we have. I am going to run these all on a quick balance quickly for you. And the quick balance runs the reds and the blues only, but it helps in time because we don't have to drag and drop anything. We can just click one button. Also want to remind everybody, I know I say this every week, but drinking water is so important to maximize the results of a session, as well as keeping you hydrated. You can dehydrate and will dehydrate quicker with the frequencies, especially for those practitioners who are using the Genius all day long. So drink is very important. Okay, so 34% rectification. Again, it's not 40%, but it's close to it. I am happy with that. I will add in the reds and the blues. There's only a couple 600s. And these that are below 200. The Bach flower essences, again, I am going to run a quick balance on those, maybe only for about 30 seconds.
Denise, if you were to be treating a client in person, would the practitioner receive all of these frequencies along with the client.
I mean, even when you work remotely, as long as you're sitting in front of them, but your body's only going to take in what it needs. So, it's not going to hurt you by taking it in. Our bodies are intelligent design. So that's really why you can't make a mistake here, because if you send a frequency that your body doesn't need, it's not going to take it in. And I don't think it gave us a percent rectification here, but I am going to add the reds and the blues only. I'm going to look at the brain anatomy because we haven't, that's where your main focus is. And I'm going to add all of them, all areas of the brain here. And I will look at the brain EEG as well. Why is that last one? Where'd the words go? Oh, strange. There they are. Okay, so finally, the last area, we have the body. So I don't go in and out of all these all the time. I trust that the ones that needed to be cleared when we did the general overview. But I do like to look at digestion. And I will put the ones that show up in there. And I will always look at spinal energy. Now, when you're in spinal energy, it first will show you the order of the spinal column. So you'll see cervical 1 and then down all the way to your coccyx. But if you hit high to low, touch on it or click on it, whatever device you're using, it will order it so that you see the reds, yellows, greens, and blues. So I am going to add again the all of them. I feel like from something that you said, I should be adding all of these though. How you were telling me you had weakness in your legs.
Yeah.
Is that still an issue?
Yeah. I can feel in my groins.
So is that the weakness is only in your legs, or you kind of feel it everywhere?
It's in my whole body, actually. Like,
okay. I was just asking because, our spinal column is so important. That's where all our nerves and all the messages from our brain are coming from. So I'm going to add all the spinal segments in here just to make sure that we're not overlooking anything. I also like to look at today's stress just to give us a picture of where you're at right now. So we're seeing pathogens, just general pathogens in some environmentals. We can add those. Connective tissue, I would add. And then we can look at your kidneys. Oh, one of the, your thoracic 10, that had to do with kidneys, I think, right? I think so. So just trying to keep like a little roadmap of what we're finding here. And we can look quickly at body systems just to see nervous system, digestive system, endocrine. I would add those. Glands, thymus and pancreas. We can add those. I'm not going to add all of them, but our tray is getting kind of filled. So, and I would look at organs quickly. And there we have kidneys again. So there may be something going on with your kidneys just because it's showing up in all different areas. So we can maybe see if we find something there. Minerals, I will add those. And an important mineral that I always add is lithium, no matter where it is. And I find it often it will show up as a high when we run it in the main hole tray. So basically that touches on mostly everything on this main system overview page. So now I'm going to go to my libraries and I'll hit begin analysis. Sorry, it takes a little longer because I have so many here. I do have some traumatic brain injury libraries that I want to look at for you. Resistance to healing. I am going to add these for you. I have that I made, had some on my own personal stuff in there. So if you saw my name in there, that's why. And let's see. We said genetic. Why am I finding that? Oh, here it is. So I'm going to add all the reds here, as well as all the 600s. And so this is a little bit of an assessment of what may be going on. But again, you'll hear me say this, the genius is not diagnostic in the allopathic sense. It is just here to show us where there are energetic imbalances. So anything that comes up here, even though it says assessment, doesn't mean if you go to your doctor that they're going to have the same findings. So I just really want to make sure everybody understands that. And some solutions. You can look at the ones on the bottom. Turmeric comes up, ginger tea. Let me see what comes up for brain. So here are some items in here. So you could have leaky brain. Brain anatomy. Just trying to see if we could get all areas as best as possible. I'm going to put in the vagus nerve. I think some of these areas we've already put in already. Don't know why there's nothing showing here. Ah! Sorry, that was a little scary. Okay, I'm putting in all the reds in here and all the blues. And I'm just trying to look at time here a little bit. I want to add the 600 and above. I'm really trying to go a little bit more on your brain because that's where you indicated it's the worst right now. I just want to look at nerves though as well. And just want to try to get some of these in. I'm sorry if I'm a little quiet here, but I know that we're coming up on the hour. We're already at 229 items, so I'm going to run this quickly. What I like to do is, well, begin analysis. I will run all of them for 1 minute twice, and I will rescan in between, and then I'll run the highs for 3 minutes. So what does everybody think about the 3D graphics? Do you like seeing it? Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't set it to 1 minute, darn it. Okay, so we had, wow, 22, 22, 22. Oh, they were almost all 22%. I am going to rescan. And we can hit all again, and it's on 1 minute this time. We can just look and see what's in there. For the scans, everybody just let me know when I do these. Do you prefer not having the graphics on so you can look at what's come up, or you can put that in the chat box so I know. I do like having that there, especially if you're going to have clients viewing, because it takes the focus off them seeing what some of these items are, because sometimes then they kind of let their brain go overactive into why they're showing up. So 33%. So that's still good because we have over 200 items in here to have 33% rectification. We can rescan now again. And this time we'll just work with the highs. And we will increase it to 3 minutes. And this is the timer up above here. How are you feeling?
I can feel it in my head.
You can feel that.
Feels like it's working. Reorganizing, rearranging.
You know what? I'm going to ask you just to pause for a second because I can't really hear you. So I'm not sure if anybody else could really hear you either. Okay, so 20% rectification. So again, I mean, I can't really work on that much longer because we are at the top of the hour, but let's go see what your aura looks like. And so how are you feeling again?
I feel it working. It starts to almost regenerate some of the nerves more.
Okay.
So I think the nerves were coming up more. Every time I run it, something else shows up that is most important that needs to be healed. So I think today the nerves now are starting to show up.
Okay.
Irene, how long have you been using the system?
Since the end of November.
Okay. So this aura picture looks much better to me. Green is healing, obviously. So that's great that we're seeing that. It's also your heart chakra. It's not as bright as it could be. And in here, we still see a little bit of, maybe that's a little bit of stagnant energy, but it does appear that it's moving out. So that's good. I will go into my libraries and see if we could just adjust on that a little bit. And we can look at some of these in here that are coming up, and we can look at, I'm going to put them in the quick zap. So black tourmaline works to at the deepest level of the physical body to improve grounding, circulation, and strength, balances the relationship between the first and seventh chakras, helps us exchange toxic energy held in the chakras for restorative energy, and stimulates the organized release of old habits and patterns. And we can go into the regular gems here and add in the reds, the blues. I'm just going to add them all since we don't have a lot of time here. And I'm going to put that to 0 and hit play.
I have a question, Denise.
Mhm.
Are you able, I have a remedy plate as well. Can you imprint all of these in the like with the remedy plate into like a bracelet or something you wear?
Yes, you can. And that's what's really wonderful, that you can do that. I have worked with some clients that I do work with remotely, but I did send them the frequencies from their session in a silicone bracelet, and they really loved wearing it.
Is there a maximum amount that you can imprint in there?
I've never been getting an exact answer on that. I mean, I did put in quite a lot.
If you can put the whole
And
tray-
it doesn't I think it stays maybe 4 to 6 weeks in the bracelet. The frequencies will hold. They'll last longer in like crystals or gemstones. And you can also put the frequencies into water as well. So there's so many different options. Some people put the frequencies by putting their face cream on the remedy plate, but you can do so many things. I'm just gonna look quickly here and hope that maybe your aura got a little brighter. But we still got a pretty good aura there. We'll see what happens now. Would you still rate how you're feeling as an 8?
No, it went down to a 4 or 5, I think.
A 4 or 5? Well, that's great. So we see it did change a little bit. We still have color. It's still, I would say, you know, it's not as vibrant as it could be. You may want to, if we had more time, maybe run those essences or gems a little bit longer to try to break up. I find them really great to break up stagnant energy. But that's all the time that we have today. It was such a pleasure to be able to work with you, and look forward to hearing how you're doing after today, and also with continued use of the Genius. So you can always shoot me an email at Denise@Inside Health Apps. And anyone that has any questions or anything that we can help you with, you can email me or Claire. Claire, you're at, I can't hear you. Claire at Inside Health Apps, I think too. So anyway, I hope, oh my goodness, I hope, have all these chats been answered here? I hope so. Carmen likes the graphics. That's great. Okay, Jane, you like seeing what comes up. Okay, so great.
Well, thank you so much, Denise. I really appreciate your time and expertise.
Oh, you're welcome. So it was great seeing everybody. I hope to see you again next week. So have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Oh, no.
What?
Oh, I don't know if it's saved. I hit
It's still
cancel.
recording?
Oh, it's still recording. Oh, phew.
Yeah.